what is the difference between normal diabetes mellitus and gestational diabetes mellitus? Why we are calling it as gestational? It is due to pregnancy. Due to pregnancy hormones. Okay, that's why it is known as gestational diabetes mellitus. It normally develops after certain period of gestation. That is 24 weeks, 20 to 24 weeks. After that, we call it as gestational diabetes mellitus. Gestational diabetes mellitus is defined as impaired glucose tolerance with onset of first recognition during pregnancy. Why it is important? Because worldwide 1 in 10 pregnancies treated with diabetes, and as we are progressing decade by decade, the incidence is increasing. Nowadays, as you know, the incidence of diabetes has increased. In normal population it has increased. 10 years back it was less. Same as PCOS incidence has increased over the last decade. uh, the etiology is supposedly same: diabetes, PCOS, insulin resistance is there, and GDM. The etiology is somewhat related. That's why the incidence has increased from the last 10 years. 90% of which are GDM. More of women with GDM and the offspring are at increased risk of developing type 2 DM later in life. In India, one of the most populous country globally, rates of GDM are estimated to be 10 to 14.3%. That is, there is 11-fold increased incidence in Indian population. That's why what government of India has done, it has made the screening for diabetes in pregnant women compulsory. That is, universal screening should be done in each patient, not selective screening. Earlier, it used to be selective screening, like somebody has family history of diabetes, or somebody has in previous pregnancy there was diabetes. But nowadays, each and every pregnant patient in India should be screened for diabetes, GDM. Okay. There are many topics in this GDM. I will go in short in every topic. Now the main flowchart: diabetes in pregnancy. It is divided into two parts: pre-existing diabetes and gestational diabetes. Okay. Suppose a patient comes to you at around 10 weeks. 10 weeks you did blood sugar. It was random blood sugar. It was say 201. Okay. Or 202. So what you will call it as? GDM or diabetes mellitus? She's 10 weeks pregnant, or say 6 weeks, just conceived, and you did the routine blood investigation in which you did blood sugar random and it was more than 200. What is that? Which type? Gestational diabetes because she's pregnant, or pre-existing diabetes? She is having overt diabetes because it is more than 200 and it has appeared before 20 weeks or say 24 weeks. That's why it is overt diabetes or pre-existing diabetes. Pre-existing diabetes, as you all know, it is divided into type 1 and type 2, insulin dependent and non-insulin dependent. Gestational diabetes is divided into pre-existing diabetes and true GDM, because if you are diagnosing a patient first time in pregnancy, so we take it as GDM only. Okay, we will treat it as GDM, even if you have doubt that she might be having. Suppose you did the blood sugar first at around 20 weeks, and it was more than 200. So what you will call it? We will not divide it in overt or GDM. We will take it as GDM only, okay? Because it is first diagnosed. And later, after she had delivered, we will further do blood testing. If again her blood sugar are raised, then she will be over diabetes. But for the pregnancy purpose, we will take it as GDM, okay? And later division will be done after the delivery. Criteria for overdiagnosis is fasting blood sugar is more than 126, HbA1c more than 6.5, random blood glucose more than 200. Pre-existing, as you all know, diagnosed before start of pregnancy, or gestational diabetes mellitus, hyperglycemia during pregnancy. That is not overt diabetes. Pathophysiology, why it occurs? Insulin resistance due to placental secretion of anti-insulin hormone. What are anti-insulin hormone? I will tell you later. Maternal hepatic glucose production increases by 15 to 30% to meet fetal demand in late pregnancy. Pancreatic beta cell dysfunction occurs due to maybe genetics, or there is family history, any autoimmune disorder, or chronic insulin resistance is already there. Like in PCOS patients, they already have chronic insulin resistance. These patients are prone to pancreatic beta cell dysfunction. These all leads to gestational diabetes mellitus. The HPL, human placental lactogen, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, all these cause the insulin resistance in pregnancy. As you can see, after 20 weeks, these level increases and insulin resistance increases. But beta HCG level plateaus after this, decrease in plateaus after this. The carbohydrate metabolism in pregnancy, there is insulin resistance, there is increased lipolysis. Okay, mother utilizes fatty acids for her calorie needs, sparing glucose for the fetus. Changes in gluconeogenesis, alanine and other amino acids are the major gluconeogenic source in the mother used by the fetus. And as I already told you, insulin resistance, spelling is mistake over here. Production of human placental lactogen, cortisol, estriol, and progesterone have anti-insulin effect, and increased destruction of insulin by kidney and placenta occurs due to insulinase. This is just a flow chart. Here you can see this is of the mother and this is of the offspring. Here there is increased IGF, TNF, leptin, ghrelin, estrogen, cortisol, and progesterone increases. Adiponectin decreases, and insulin resistance increases, and hyperglycemia is there in the mother, and there is decreased insulin production and hyperlipidemia. What results in this? Excessive transport of glucose and amino acid and lipids through the fetus. Okay, this is the placental barrier. Through this, it is crossing. Okay, and increased glucose growth hormone, HPL, and HPGF get transfers to the fetus. And what happens in the fetus? There is hyperglycemia. There is fetal pancreas stimulation due to hyperglycemia, because there is increased glucose in fetus. What it will lead to? There is increased insulin secretion, hyperinsulinemia in the fetus. As a result, it leads to increased IGF-1, insulin, adiponectin, decreased leptin and ghrelin, and this gluconeogenesis, lipogenesis, and excessive anabolism, and which can later be seen as big baby or macrosomia in the fetus. Now we will see the screening versus diagnostic testing. The purpose of screening is to identify asymptomatic individual with high probability of having or developing a specific disease. The screening is different in different part of the world. The different criteria are according to the RCOG, ACOG, but in India, we follow universal screening in each and every patient. This is the universal screening. Okay, according to ACOG, they follow two-step screening. First, they do the 50-gram glucose challenge test. After 1 hour, blood sugar is measured. If that is more than 140, she will be further two-step screening will be done. Two-step screening is 100-gram glucose. This all you don't need to remember. You just need to remember 75-gram glucose, what we do in India. But you need to know these all are done in different part of the world. 100-gram glucose is taken, then fasting, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, blood sugar is measured. And in one step, that is in a 24 to 28 weeks gestation, straight 75-gram glucose is taken in 300 ml water, and that is known as glucose tolerance test. And blood sugar is measured in fasting, 1 hour, 2 hour. These are different criteria in IADPSG 2010, 75-gram glucose OGTT, one step is followed. Okay, fasting is taken as cutoff is taken 92, 1 hour is taken, cutoff is taken 180, 2 hour 153. WHO according to 2013 criteria, same one step is followed, but the difference, the range is taken 92 to 125, 1 hour blood sugar is more than 180, 2 hour blood sugar is 153 to 199. In ACOG, they follow two-step method, which I told you earlier. The levels taken are fasting 95 of the 100 gram glucose, 1 hour more than 180, 2 hour more than 155, 3 hour more than 140. In ADA, they follow one step or two step. These are the the patients are divided into high risk, average risk and low risk. In high risk patient, the screening is done at the first contact. In low risk patient, it is many times it is skipped. And in average risk patient, it is done at 24 to 28 weeks. Who are the in high risk? Marked obesity, strong family history of type 2 DM, previous history of GDM, impaired glucose metabolism or glycosuria. Average risk, ethnic group with high prevalence of GDM like in India, diabetes in first degree relative, age more than 25, overweight before pregnancy, weight high at birth. The two-step screening, as I told you, GCT, glucose challenge test. This was earlier followed in India, but after WHO criteria and the DIPSI guideline, the instruction have changed. But earlier we used to do this. Suppose 10 years back we used to do this glucose challenge test. But nowadays we don't do this. Glucose challenge test, I already told you, first stage, 50 gram glucose is taken and 1 hour ppbs is measured. And after that, if that is more than 140, we will perform 3 hour 100 gram glucose tolerance test, OETT. This is the Carpenter-Costin criteria, which I told you earlier. This is the readings which we take as cutoff at 1 hour, 2 hour and 3 hour. 3 hour is 140, 2 hour is 155. Which screening method? Diabetes in pregnancy study group of India, DIPSI criteria. We follow one-step approach. One-step approach has been proposed by the DIPSI and endorsed by the Government of India. On 14th March 2007, Government of India issues instruction for universal screening of glucose intolerance during pregnancy should be mandatory. Single step, I already told you. The important criteria in this is what we do in Indian population, because the patient is coming from far away places and she has first reported at 24 weeks. So what you will tell her, ki come back after 1 week in fasting state. Will she come back? If she had already paid for the transport that day and you are asking ki you need to do this blood sugar test and you need to come fasting. You have to come after 1 week. वो ऑलरेडी इतनी मुश्किल से आई है ट्रैवल करके, भाड़ा देके, यहाँ के लैंग्वेज में भाड़ा देके, वो अगले हफ्ते फिर से आएगी तुम्हारे पास खाली एम्प्टी स्टमक नहीं आएगी. तो व्हाट दे हैव प्रपोज्ड इट, in spite of having non-fasting state, or fasting or non-fasting doesn't matter, you will at that moment you will give 75 gram glucose in 300 ml water and you will ask her to take in within 5 to 10 minutes, and after 2 hours you will measure the blood sugar. So it is very convenient, easy to be followed, and compliance is better in this. That's why irrespective of the last meal, whenever last meal has been taken, that doesn't matter. The intake of the solution should be completed within 5 to 10 minutes. If the vomiting occurs, it should be repeated the next day. If vomiting occurs after 30 minutes, the test continues. Here we take cutoff as 140. Okay, one step process, we take cutoff as 140. If the blood sugar is less than 120, that is normal in pregnancy, and outside pregnancy it is also normal. If the blood sugar is between 120 to 139, it is known as gestational glucose intolerance. Okay. If it is more than 140, it is gestational diabetes, and less than 190, that is less than 200, that is gestational diabetes. And in outside pregnancy, that is known as impaired glucose tolerance. If it is more than 200, that is known as over diabetes in pregnancy or outside pregnancy. Advantage of DIPSI criteria, I have already told you: simple, feasible, convenient, economical, acceptable in Indian scenario. The first test is, if the first test, say patient presented to you at 12 weeks, you did the screening test, it was negative, then the second test should be repeated at 24 to 28 weeks, okay? ऐसा नहीं कि फर्स्ट टेस्ट में नॉर्मल लगे तो यू विल लीव इट, तुमने डायरेक्ट डिलीवरी के टाइम में किया, ऐसा नहीं है. यू विल रिपीट इट एट 24 to 28 वीक्स. वाई यू विल रिपीट? अगर 12 वीक्स पेशेंट प्रेजेंटेड टू यू एट 12 वीक्स एंड इट वाज नॉर्मल, द OTT was normal, will you repeat it or not at 24 to 28 weeks? Why? Because I already told you the graph, the placental hormones, the pregnancy hormones rises after 20 weeks. So the main incidence will increase after 20 to 24 weeks. That's why you have to repeat at 24 to 28 weeks in spite of the negative test. The earlier the test was negative, in spite of that you will repeat it at 24 to 28 weeks. So you will do at 2 step. In the postpartum period, OTT should be repeated at 6 weeks. And it should be at least 4 gaps between the 2 tests. If you present beyond 28 weeks, only 1 test is to be done at the first point of contact. This is the Indian criteria of Government of India. ये चार्ट इंडियन जो गाइडलाइन निकला है उसका ये चार्ट है. तो फर्स्ट प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन प्रेजेंटेड टू यू, you will do the OTT test as first antenatal visit. Okay, 75 gram glucose. Then 2-hour blood sugar value should be measured. If it is more than 140, manage as GDM. Okay. If it is less than 140, repeat testing. ये सबसे important chart है पूरे इसमें, बाकी याद रखो ना, ये याद रखना चाहिए. Repeat testing at 24 to 28 weeks. If it is positive, manage GDM. If negative, manage normal antenatal care. Other screening, retinal assessment, renal function test should be done. What are the maternal complications of GDM? During pregnancy, there is abortion, preterm labor, preeclampsia, polyhydramnios, microangiopathy, nephropathy, retinopathy, neuropathy, large vessel disease, coronary artery disease can be there, thromboembolic disease, infection, hyperglycemia, this is very important, abortion is very important, preterm labor, and polyhydramnios, preeclampsia is very important. During labor, there can be prolonged labor, shoulder dystocia, perineal injury, PPH, operative interference, increased risk of cesarean delivery. And in purpurium, there is increased risk of infection, puerperal sepsis, and lactational failure. In fetal complication in first trimester, as you all know, this is very well known, that there is increased incidence of, what is increased? Congenital anomaly. Which congenital anomaly is most common? In diabetes, in pregnancy, heart. Okay, congenital heart disease is very common. The most common is VSD, then ASD. The cardiac congenital anomaly is very common. Acha, congenital anomaly will occur in which type of diabetes? GDM or overt? GDM में होगा कि overt में होगा? Congenital anomalies किस में होगा? GDM में? नहीं. When the organogenesis occurs, in which period? What is the time period or the range of the organogenesis when it occurs in fetus? Before 18 weeks. Normally we say 9 to 12. Before 18 weeks already organogenesis has occurred. So GDM, due to GDM, it doesn't occur due to GDM. If it has occurred, that means it has occurred due to overt diabetes. Okay, patient was already known case of diabetes or already had raised blood sugar, and due to that congenital anomalies occur. This is very important point because many students confuse. Okay, this is due to occurs in GDM or overt diabetes. किस में होगा congenital anomaly? GDM or overt diabetes? Overt diabetes. Why? Yes, because due to placental hormones, the GDM has occurred. It has started after 20 weeks. The effect has started after 20 weeks. But whereas in overt diabetes, the blood sugar was already raised in that organogenesis period, and it has caused the congenital anomaly. Okay, the sacral agenesis and CRS, the most what we say peculiar congenital anomaly seen in diabetes in pregnancy is sacral agenesis. This is your MCQ question. ये सब MCQ NEET में आता है ना, ये वाला cardiac anomaly कौन सा होता है, NTD, sacral agenesis is very important. This is caudal regression syndrome. And this is polycystic kidney disease, renal agenesis, duodenal atresia, tracheoesophageal fistula. These are very important for your MCQs in NEET. In second trimester, macrosomia occurs during delivery, birth asphyxia, shoulder dystocia can occur. After delivery, RDS, hypoglycemia, polycythemia, neonatal jaundice, hypocalcemia, hypomagnesemia can occur. Now, how it occurs? Hyperglycemia in first trimester, which is in overt diabetes, it causes impaired organogenesis, which result in congenital abnormality or congenital anomalies. Chronic maternal hyperglycemia results in fetal hyperglycemia. Mother का glucose rise होगा, through placenta glucose will get transferred to fetus, and in fetus there will be raised blood sugar. What it will stimulate? It will stimulate the pancreas, and pancreas will secrete more insulin, and more insulin will cause increased IGF, fetal macrosomia, and during labor there will be obstructed labor, shoulder dystocia, and that can lead to perineal injury and birth asphyxia and Erb's palsy in the fetus. And in due to fetal hyperglycemia, fetal osmotic dialysis will be there, and polyhydramnios, because baby will secrete more urine, and there will be polyhydramnios, which is very common in GDM patient, and that will result in polyhydramnios. Due to fetal hyperglycemia, there is decreased cortisol production, decreased surfactant synthesis in lung, and there can be respiratory distress syndrome. This कभी देखा होगा, पर तुम लोग डिलीवरी अटेंड नहीं किया है. जब डिलीवरी किसी GDM पेशेंट का होता है, we normally ask to take dexamethasone or any antenatal steroid before delivery. Why? Because there is less production of surfactant in that baby, and there is high chance of asphyxia, birth asphyxia, or there is high chance of RDS after delivery of the fetus, okay, or the baby. That's why we ask to take antenatal steroid. Due to fetal hyperglycemia, there is hyperinsulinemia, increased fetal oxygen demand, decreased oxygen tension, that is hypoxemia, and there is increased lactate acidemia, and that can result in abortion or IFD. In diabetes, GDM patient or over diabetes patient, they can be sudden IFD. That's why when patient comes to you with the diagnosis of GDM or over diabetes, we ask the patient to do daily fetal movement count, because there is high increased risk of sudden IUFD in diabetes patient due to this. Okay, due to this, there can be sudden IUFD. Patient was able to perceive fetal movement 1 hour back, and now she is not able to perceive. There is sudden risk of IUFD. You have to explain that to patient. तो patient आगे तुमको बोलेगा, डॉक्टर साहब आपको तो दिखा रहे थे 8 मास दिखाया, बच्चा कैसे डेथ हो गया, आपने तो कुछ बताया ही नहीं. So that's why you have to explain it to patient. You have to be vigilant. Antenatal care, जैसे जब से visit है, you have to take proper counseling. You have to do proper counseling, proper investigation at every step, and you have to counsel the patient. Neonatal effects: neonatal hypoglycemia, infant respiratory distress syndrome, hypoglycemia, hypomagnesemia, neonatal hyperbilirubinemia. What is long-term sequelae? Babies born to diabetic mother have increased risk of developing obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and impaired cognitive and motor function later in life. Management: all pregnant women who test positive for GDM for the first time should be managed. First management is medical nutrition therapy, and the other management are, और क्या management हो सकता है? What is medical nutrition therapy? Just you will ask to diet control, diabetic diet and exercise. This is medical nutrition therapy. What are other management options for GDM? Raised blood sugar के लिए क्या दोगे? Raised blood pressure के लिए antihypertensive देते हो. Raised blood sugar में क्या दोगे? First and foremost is medical nutrition therapy. वो तो किया, नहीं control हुआ. What you will do? Hypoglycemic agent, OHA. Okay. अच्छा, patient is asked in MNT for the physical exercise and diabetic diet. After 2 weeks on MNT and physical exercise, 2 hours PP blood sugar is to be done. MNT for GDM primarily involves carbohydrate control, balanced meal, okay, and optimal nutrition for the maternal fetal health. You will ask her to control the carbohydrate, but ज़्यादा भी कंट्रोल नहीं करना. ऑब्वियसली शी रिक्वायर्ड एनर्जी एंड कैलोरीज फॉर द फीटस. That's why there should be balance. Carbohydrate, that's why it is known as carbohydrate control balanced meal. अगर ये नॉर्मल पेशेंट में अगर तुम बोलोगे डायबिटीज़ के पेशेंट में तो उसमें यू हैव टू आस्क कि कार्बोहाइड्रेट कम करना है, ठीक है, लेस कार्बोहाइड्रेट, मोर प्रोटीन, मोर फाइबर. बट इन प्रेगनेंसी पेशेंट यू हैव टू टेक कंट्रोल बैलेंस कार्बोहाइड्रेट मील, ओके, सो डैट पेशेंट का शुगर लेवल भी ना बढ़े एंड फीटस का डिमांड कंप्लीट हो, ठीक है, दोनों को बैलेंस करके करना है. As per Indian ICMR guideline, for an average weight gain of 10 to 12 kg, addition of 350 kilocalorie above the adult requirement is recommended during second and third trimester. ये तो तुमने PSM में पढ़ा होगा, 350 kilocalorie required होता है pregnancy woman में. Severe caloric restriction is not recommended as it may result in ketonemia, ketonuria, and impair physical and mental development in offspring. How you will manage? If fasting glucose is more than 120, then you will give insulin and OHA, insulin or OHA. And if fasting blood sugar is less than 120, then you can manage by MNT. What is MNT? Medical nutrition therapy. The fasting glucose is less than 120, you will manage by MNT. That is the severity grade is less. But if it is more than 120, fasting is more than 120, then you will either give insulin or OHA. Earlier, we only used to give insulin in pregnancy, but nowadays, after one MIG study, we now also give OHA. Metformin was earlier not used during pregnancy, but nowadays we use it. Medical nutrition therapy. For average weight women, we will give 30 kilocalorie per kg. तो 60 kg की woman में कितना होगा kilocalorie? Average weight woman 60 kg weight है. कितना kilocalorie होगा? हाँ? 1800 kilocalorie, ठीक है. और same 25 kilocalorie per kg for overweight women and 12 kilocalorie per kg for morbidly obese women. These are the different meal plans. We'll not go in detail. Exercise, there should be resistant exercises and stretching exercises will be encouraged, not strenuous exercises. Glucose monitoring, she should be advised to do self-glucose monitoring. Fasting in 1 to 2 hour postprandial glucose level should be measured. What is our goal? Fasting should be less than 95, 1 hour should be less than 140, 2 hour PP blood sugar should be less than 120. Once target blood glucose is achieved, till 28 weeks, what we will do? We will measure fasting blood sugar and PP blood sugar once a month, or as if required. And from 28 to 32 weeks, we will measure every 2 weeks. And after 32 weeks, we will measure it weekly. But depends on the blood sugar level, what are the results coming. If it is more than the desired, then we will do frequent monitoring, not after 2 weeks. Insulin. In GDM with fasting blood sugar more than 120, during OGTT, we will give insulin. GDM with majority of fasting blood sugar more than 90 and PP blood sugar more than 120 despite MNT, then we will go back to insulin. OHA, which OHA? Metformin and glibenclamide can be given. Okay, these are category B drug, but there is no proper study on the effect on fetus. Okay, there is no proper study. There are some studies, but that is not foolproof proven. If you are giving an OHA to the patient, you have to explain the patient there is no proper data available on the effect of the fetus of this metformin or the OHA. Okay, but there is no adverse effect no adverse effect has been seen, but there is insufficient data. Okay, that's why you have to explain that to patient. Pregnancy में problem है कि we can't do much study, क्योंकि most of the pregnant women don't opt for the study. Obviously the effect will be on the fetus. That's why most of जैसे कोई भी drug जैसे कैटेगरी बी ए बी जो होते हैं स्टडी के हिसाब से डिसाइड हुए हैं, बट देयर आर सर्टेन ड्रग्स जिसमें कोई हमने साइड इफेक्ट नहीं मिला है, देन ऑल्सो वी डोंट गिव इट, और वी एडवाइज द पेशेंट to take minimal medicine because there is no proper study in all the drugs. There are some drugs study has been done, and in most of the drugs study is not still now it is not proven. That's why you have to explain the patient कि data sufficient नहीं है, लेकिन अभी तक किसी में adverse effect नहीं मिला है. तो if you want you can opt for insulin. If she wants she can opt for OHA. Okay, but if it not control on OHA, you have to go back to insulin. Okay. So this study was done, MIG trial. In this, there was no serious adverse events associated with use of metformin. And there was no difference in the outcome of the two groups. One was given insulin, one was given metformin. We have to consider about the metformin risk, including placental crossover and no long-term studies in offspring available. Starting dose क्या होता है 500 milligram OD HS and increase up to 500 twice daily. Check baseline creatinine when you are giving metformin. Adverse event include abdominal pain, diarrhea. Recommend with meals. We ask them to take with meals, not before pain. Maximum doses 2,500 and 3,000 milligram per day in 2 to 3 divided doses. Consider glibenclamide for women with gestational diabetes who cannot tolerate metformin or in whom blood sugar targets are not achieved with metformin but who decline insulin therapy. Insulin is best. अगर जिसमें studies है proven है insulin is best. But if she doesn't want to take insulin or there is no proper fridge, you have to store it in fridge. That is no storage available. Then you can ask or give her the option of OHA. Monitoring, how you will monitor during pregnancy. In first trimester, clinical examination is done, dating scan is done, anti-scan is done, biochemical screening, that is dual marker is done, and color Doppler of uterine artery, umbilical artery, and MC is done. In second trimester, clinical examination, anomaly scan is done at 22 to 22 weeks, and fetal echo is advised. It is very important in pregnancy women. You will advise fetal echo at, that is not 22 weeks, that is 24 weeks. Okay. किसी भी pregnancy patient normally we don't advise fetal echo unless until there is any congenital anomaly found in an anomaly scan. But in diabetes patient, in GDM or over diabetes, you will advise fetal echo. Okay, fetal echocardiography should be done around 24 weeks. ठीक है, ये एक सिंगल है जहाँ पे हम लोग एडवाइस करते हैं even if there is no congenital anomaly detected during anomaly scan. Okay, this is a very important point, fetal echo. Third trimester clinical examination, fundal height, abdominal girth, growth scan at 28, 32, 36 weeks is done. Color Doppler is indicated. AFI, NST 32 weeks onwards if on insulin. Pregnant women GDM between 24 to 34 weeks of gestation requiring early delivery, antenatal steroid should be given as per Government of India guideline. What we normally give, injection dexamethasone or betamethasone can be also be given. Dexamethasone doses 6 milligram IM, 2 leaf. How many doses? Total 4 doses. Okay. More vigilant monitoring of blood sugar level should be done next 72 hours following the steroid injection. In case of raised blood sugar, insulin dose should be adjusted according to that. What is the mode of delivery? Vaginal delivery is preferred. Cesarean section is done only if indicated. If there is past bad obstetric history, there is fetal weight is more than 4.5 kg, that is macrosomia is there, and if patient wants. When to induce? In low risk GDM, allowed to develop spontaneous labor at term. At 40 weeks induced labor, high risk GDM induction at 38 weeks. These which insulin to use? Normally we use short acting and intermediate acting insulin, regular insulin and NPH insulin. Total daily insulin requirement is 2/3 in the divided into two parts. Total we have calculated insulin requirement, 2/3 will be given in the morning and 1/3 will be given in the evening. Okay, morning dose कैसे calculate करोगे? 2/3 NPH and 1/3 short acting. Pre-dinner dose should be half NPH and half short acting. NICE guidelines suggest daily testing of urine sugar and ketone by dipstick method when you are giving insulin. Site of injection देखा होगा, कभी देखा है कैसे लेते हैं? It can be taken in the thigh or over abdomen, front or lateral aspect of thigh or over abdomen. It should be given subcutaneously. This is the insulin syringe. I will not go in detail. ये इस टाइप से लेते हैं, ये एब्डोमेन में इंसुलिन ले रहे हैं पेशेंट. केयर इन लेबर एंड डिलीवरी. लेबर मैनेजमेंट फर्स्ट स्टेज, Hyperglycemia in pregnancy, control on diet. We allow for spontaneous labor. Admission CTG should be done, and too early blood sugar should be measured. Target level should be 80 to 120. Continuous fetal monitoring should be done. Spontaneous labor in patient with hyperglycemia in pregnancy, which who are on insulin or OHA, then we will do admission CTG, and same blood sugar too early should be measured. Target should be same, and continuous fetal monitoring and IV fluid should be given as per blood sugar level. We advise for institutional delivery, presence of expert obstetrician, and close electronic monitoring should be done. In second and third stage, second stage control ARM should be done. What we anticipate, shoulder dystocia, assisted vaginal delivery, and there will be expert neonatologist or trained person to resuscitate the fetus or baby. Third stage, active management of third stage should be done to manage the PPH or any traumatic atonic PPH is there. There should be close monitoring of second stage. We watch for fetal distress, vaginal delivery should be preferred, and unless should be done only for obstetric indication. Insulin management during labor, we normally give IV infusion of normal saline. Morning dose of insulin is withheld. During labor, or if LSCS is already planned, then once active labor has begun, glucose levels fall below 70 milligram per deciliter. Infusion changed from saline to 5% dextrose and delivered at 2.5 milligram per kg per minute. And glucose level should be checked hourly. 1 hour 1 में check करते रहेंगे, then infusion rate accordingly adjust करेंगे. If blood sugar is more than 140, then regular short acting insulin should be given. This is the sliding scale. Postpartum management, insulin requirement decreases drastically after delivery. Do not need insulin for 24 to 48 hours postpartum. We will just monitor the blood sugar. We will not give insulin unless until required. And we will encourage breastfeeding. Breastfeeding क्यों encourage करते हैं? Early breastfeeding diabetes में क्यों encourage करते हैं? Because there is risk of hypoglycemia in the fetus. Why? Whenever we deliver a GDM baby, we ask for early breastfeeding because the baby is having increased level of insulin in his blood. That will cause hypoglycemia. Okay, that's why to increase the blood sugar level of the baby, we will ask for frequent feeding. We will start as soon as possible, and we will advise for frequent feeding of the baby. And that's why blood sugar of the baby should be checked every hourly after delivery, if possible. Neonatal care, early clamping of cord should be done. Apgar score at 1 minute, 5 minutes should be measured. Screening for congenital malformation should be done. Start early feeding, very important. Capillary blood sugar, glucose monitoring should be done 1 to 2 hours of age and before the first 4 breastfeeding. This is very important. Blood tests for polycythemia, hyperbilirubinemia, hypocalcemia, hypermagnesemia should be carried out for babies with clinical signs. If you see there is hypoglycemia, then you will further go for these testing. Hypoglycemia newborn with GDM. All babies born to mothers with GDM are at increased risk of hypoglycemia, and all babies GDM should be checked for hypoglycemia. Follow-up कैसे करेंगे? Patient का post delivery 1 to 3 days fasting और random blood sugar will be measured. Early postpartum 6 to 12 weeks 25 gram glucose OGTT test करेंगे. Then 1 year postpartum में करेंगे OGTT, annually करेंगे, and next जब pregnancy plan करेगा तो pre pregnancy करेंगे. ठीक है? How to recognize and manage hypoglycemia? This is a very dreaded complication of GDM. Okay, GDM or over diabetes. There can be sudden hypoglycemia in the patient if patient is receiving insulin or patient is on OHA. That's why hypoglycemia should be diagnosed. Hypoglycemia कब बोलते हैं? If blood sugar is less than 70. ठीक है? It is important to recognize symptoms of hypoglycemia and treat immediately. How to recognize hypoglycemia? क्या होगा? पेशेंट क्या सिम्टम्स देंगे? ट्रेमर होगा, स्वेटिंग होगा, पैल्पिटेशन, हंगर, ये बहुत कॉमन है. स्वेटिंग होगा, पैल्पिटेशन, easy fatiguability, headache, mood change, irritability, lower attention, and tingling sensation. And there can be severe symptom is there. Then there can be confusion, abnormal behavior, visual disturbance, nervousness, seizure, and loss of consciousness can be there. That's why you have to explain the patient if they are taking insulin, the signs of hypoglycemia, how to identify it, and what to do in that case. What they will do, you will ask them to take keep glucose at home reachable, and always have one attendant with them all the time. Okay, because if they are hypoglycemic, they will not be able to do all these. They have to take 3 tablespoons of glucose powder, dissolve in glass of water. If glucose is not available, we will ask to take sugar or any sweet thing, any fruit juice, honey, anything. Take rest and avoid any physical activity for 15 minutes and eat 1 chapati or rice with vegetable. If hypoglycemia continues, repeat same amount of glucose and weight. These are the 2 dreaded complications of GDM. Shoulder, what is shoulder dystocia? इतनी बार टर्म आ गया, 4-5 बार तो आ गया अभी तक टर्म shoulder dystocia. What is shoulder dystocia? What is shoulder dystocia? अपनी लैंग्वेज में बताओ क्या होता है? This is the very important complication of GDM or over diabetes, and you should know. Diabetic ketoacidosis तो तुमने मेडिसिन में पढ़ लोगे, मेडिसिन में पढ़ लोगे, लेकिन सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है shoulder dystocia, जो गायनी में ऑप्स में बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है. Shoulder dystocia is defined as the impaction of the anterior fetal shoulder against the maternal pubic bone after delivery of the fetal head. जब बेबी का हेड डिलीवर हो गया, then the shoulder है that gets impacted behind the maternal pubic bone. Why it occurs? Because of fetal macrosomia. That is the important complication of GDM. Why it occurs? Because of fat deposition, adipose tissue deposition over the shoulder and back of the baby. ठीक है, डायमीटर बढ़ जाता है कि नॉर्मली जो तुमने डायमीटर्स पढ़े हैं डिलीवरी के, दैट डायमीटर इंक्रीजेस ओवर है एंड इट गेट्स स्टक बिहाइंड द प्यूबिक बोन, द शोल्डर गेट्स स्टक एंड इट इज़ वेरी ग्रेव इमरजेंसी ड्यूरिंग डिलीवरी ऑफ द बेबी. बिकॉज अगर तुमने इंटर्न हो, पोस्टेड हो, हाँ, वहाँ पे लेबर रूम में तुम्हारे पीजीटीज नहीं है, तुमको डिलीवर कराना है, हेड डिलीवर हो गया बट यू आर तान रहे हो, हेड तान रहे हो बट नहीं आ रहा शोल्डर. नॉर्मल डिलीवरी क्या होता है, आराम से शोल्डर आ जाता है, एंटीरियर शोल्डर डिलीवर होगा, पोस्टीरियर शोल्डर डिलीवर होगा, बेबी डिलीवर हो जाएगा. बट इस केस में नहीं होगा. व्हाट आई विल डू? कोई नहीं है वहाँ पे, तुम्हारे पीजीटीज गए हैं ओटी करने, ठीक है, या कोई इमरजेंसी पेशेंट अटेंड करने गए हैं. व्हाट आई विल डू दैट इन दैट केस? तानोगे? हाँ, हेड को तानोगे? नहीं. क्या करना होगा? डिलीवर तो करना पड़ेगा ना. उस केस में ऐसा कंडीशन है कि सीजर भी नहीं कर सकते. कर सकते हो सीजर? हेड ऑलरेडी बाहर है, सीजर सेक्शन कर सकते हो? नहीं कर सकते. कैसे करोगे? हेड ऑलरेडी बाहर है, आधा आधा सिचुएशन है, आधा बाहर है, आधा अंदर है. क्या क्या करोगे? There are many manuals which were developed over the years for delivery of the shoulder dystocia or shoulder of this macrosomic baby. इसमें क्या करते हैं? मैक रॉबर्ट्स मैन्योर होता है, वुड्स कॉक्सट्री मैन्योर होता है, और ये ऑल 4 पोजीशन होता है. ठीक है, ये सब करते हैं. इन विच केसेस रिस्क फैक्टर क्या क्या है? इन्फेंट्स मोर देन 4 kg, fetal macrosomia, maternal diabetes, obesity and previous shoulder dystocia, if history of previous shoulder dystocia is there. What are the complications? Because the baby is delivering, there can be injury to brachial plexus, there can be Erb's palsy, there can be Klumpke's palsy, clavicle fracture can be there because clavicle is here only, and maternal injury क्या होता है? Laceration of vulva, vagina, cervix, episiotomy extension, intrapartum, postpartum hemorrhage can be there. Macroverts में क्या करते हैं? We will flex the thigh, flex the legs, knee joint और hip joint को flex करेंगे, then we will abduct it. ठीक है, उससे क्या होगा? एंगल चेंज हो जाएगा. ये जो देख रहे हो, ये एंगल जो कम था ये इंक्रीज हो जाएगा. ठीक है, तो मैक-रॉबर्ट्स मैन्योर एंड देन वी विल अप्लाई द सुप्राप्यूबिक प्रेशर. The मैक-रॉबर्ट्स मैन्योर causes cephalic rotation of the pubic symphysis and reduces lumbar lordosis and may facilitate disimpaction of the anterior fetal shoulder. एक जब shoulder dystocia क्या होता है? We will call for help. अकेले करना मुश्किल होता है. ठीक है, देन यू विल कॉल फॉर हेल्प. एक और पर्सन आया, तुमने मैक-रॉबर्ट्स मैन्योर किया, उसने सुप्राप्यूबिक प्रेशर दिया, देन दैट विल फैसिलिटेट द डिलीवरी ऑफ द एंटीरियर शोल्डर. अगर ये भी फेल कर गया, देन यू विल गो फॉर वुड्स कॉक्सट्रू मेथड. वुड्स कॉक्सट्रू में क्या होता है कि हमने पोस्टीरियरली फिंगर डाला, पोस्टीरियर शोल्डर को रोटेट कर दिया एंटीरियर. तो क्या होता है कि क्योंकि एंगल ऐसा है कि जो पोस्टीरियरली वो है वो सामने डेफिशिएंट है, प्यूबिक के सामने वो डेफिशिएंट है, तो पोस्टीरियर शोल्डर तुम्हारे प्यूबिक के एंटीरियर आ जाएगा, प्यूबिस के एंटीरियर आ जाएगा, तो वो इजीली डिलीवर हो जाएगा, ठीक है। देन यू विल डिलीवर द पोस्टीरियर शोल्डर फर्स्ट, देन द एंटीरियर शोल्डर, देन द बेबी विल बी डिलीवर्ड। दिस इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट मैन्योवर, दिस इज देखने में बहुत ईजी लग रहा है, दैट इज़ अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट मैन्योवर, बट वी नीड टू डू। जब नहीं हो रहा है, जब ऑब्वियसली वी कांट डू सीजन सेक्शन इन दिस केस, यू हैव टू डिलीवर द बेबी, और अलाइव, ये नहीं कि डेड बेबी, यू हैव टू डिलीवर द बेबी अलाइव। तो ताना तानी भी नहीं करना है कि बच्चे को एक्सफिक्सिया हो जाए, हाँ, और छोड़ भी नहीं देना है कि बच्चे का डेथ हो जाए, ठीक है। तुमको डिलीवर भी करना है और लाइव बेबी डिलीवर करना है, तो यू विल डू ऑल दीज मैन्योर्स। इसके बाद लास्ट ऑप्शन ये होता है ऑल फोर पोजीशन, गैस्किन मैन्योवर, इंक्रीज पेल्विक डायमेंशन एंड मे अलाउ फीटल पोजीशन टू शिफ्ट एंड फ्रीइंग द impacted shoulder. What you will do when shoulder dystocia occurs, we will ask for help. Lift the legs, that is McRoberts maneuver. Anti-shoulder delivery, that is pubic pressure should be applied. Rotate, Woods-Coxtrue maneuver should be done. And M, remove posterior arm and shoulder. Episiotomy should be given. Repeat steps above. अगर एक बार नहीं हो तो अगेन रिपीट करोगे, ठीक है। तो ये शॉर्ट फॉर्म है अलामा, ये तुम्हारे स्किल में आता है, ठीक है। एग्जाम में उतना डिटेल नहीं पूछेंगे, बट मैनुअल्स का नाम पूछ सकते हैं, ठीक है। एटलीस्ट मैक्रोबर्ट्स तो पता ही होना चाहिए। डायबिटिक कीटोसिस तुम लोग मेडिसिन में पढ़ा ही होगा। टाइम्स ऑफ डीके इज मेड व्हेन ब्लड शुगर इज मोर देन 250 कीटोन बॉडीज इन ब्लड एंड यूरिन अटिल पीएच लेस देन 7.3 का बाइकार्बोनेट इज लेस देन 15। ट्रीटमेंट क्या करोगे? पीरियडिक मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ ब्लड पल्स, ब्लड प्रेशर, इनपुट आउटपुट कैपिलरी ब्लड शुगर, यूरिन कीटोन, ब्लड gases, electrolyte should be done, and fluid replacement should be done, and NS should be given in first hour 1 liter followed by 300 to 500 ml till pulse and blood pressure are normal. Hypokalemia का मैनेज करोगे should give insulin, bolus दोगे 0.2 unit per kg followed by 0.1 unit per kg normal saline. If blood sugar or glucose does not fall by 30% in the first hour, the rate is doubled. Blood glucose is 200 to 50, so normal saline is changed to 5% dextrose. Bicarbonate is given if pH falls less than 6.8. IV antibiotics should be given, and white occurs, we have to treat the cause. What contraceptive you will advise for GDM patient? अगर GDM patient deliver हो गया है, if she is asking कि I want contraception, तो what you will advise? You will advise ICD advise करोगे? Normally नहीं करते, पर she can take. If the blood sugar is controlled, then you can take. But ICD normally advise नहीं करते, that can predispose to infection. OCPs we don't advise, better avoided. POP you can advise. Barrier is ideal, and tubal ligation can be advised. Vasectomy for husband is good option. What we need: awareness before, during, after pregnancy, preconceptional care, glycemic control, obstetric management, monitoring, delivery plan, multidisciplinary team. Okay, when this crisis like shoulder dystocia occurs or the macrosomic baby is being delivered, there is multidisciplinary team. If DK or diabetic ketoacidosis occurs or sudden hypoglycemia occurs, the team is required. It is a teamwork. ठीक है? ओके, थैंक यू। इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का जो मैंने गाइडलाइन बताया था, जिसमें हम लोग OGTT करते हैं, दिस OGTT इज नाउ बीइंग डन एट एवरी प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर सेंटर बिकॉज ऑफ दिस स्कीम। क्या ये प्रधानमंत्री सुरक्षित मातृत्व अभियान, इसके अंडर अब सब सेंटर्स और प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर सेंटर में भी ये टेस्ट होता है, ठीक है। मेनी टाइम्स तुम जब पेशेंट कोई प्रेगनेंसी पेशेंट आता है, देखना उनको पोलियो कार्ड में पढ़ना, जब आउटडोर में आते हो कोई प्रेगनेंसी पेशेंट आया है तो उन लोग का पोलियो कार्ड निकाल के पढ़ना, उसमें लिखा होता है OGTT, या पेशेंट से पूछना कि तुमको ग्लूकोज खिलाया गया था क्या आज के पहले। इट वाज नॉट बीइंग डन अर्लियर, बट नाउ इट इज डन इन एवरी प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर सेंटर और सब सेंटर बिकॉज ऑफ दिस स्कीम।